Welcome back to this third video on Revelation, and in this I just want to look at some of the main themes, the main points, the main doctrines that are revealed and explored in this final book in the New Testament. And the first point, I mentioned this in the first video, is simply that Revelation is a revelation of Jesus Christ. It is a revealing of who he is, and we get here a sense of the wonder of Christ, the majesty, the sovereignty of Christ, as he is time and again described with the very words and descriptions of God himself as being one with God and being sovereign over all things. He is present in the church. He walks among the lampstands. He holds the stars. That is the corporate, the representation in heaven of the churches on earth. He walks among them. He is intimately involved with the church, whom he loves and whom he died for and whom he looks after. And he is the one who has overcome Satan. In chapter 12 and verse 11, it's the key verse in the entire book, and it reads like this: "They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives even unto death." In order that, in other words, the followers of Jesus enter into the same suffering and endurance and persecution, and in some cases even martyrdom for Christ. Now, we need to be careful. There is nothing redemptive about the death of Christians. Not at all. We would absolutely run from such an idea. Christ has perfectly fulfilled the redemption, the reconciliation. He has done everything, and we can add nothing to that. But nevertheless, we, as we witness to him, are called in some cases to enter into even into death for him. Of course, Christ said this himself in Mark chapter 8 and verse 34, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily and follow me." And for some people that will literally mean entering into death for Jesus. And chapters 10 and 11 look at this. It's the way that the church itself is given a little scroll and called to be witnesses to the nations, and that in this context means involves actually martyrdom. And those two chapters are probably certainly chapter 11 are the most enigmatic of the whole book. But this is they're talking about the witness of the church, and it's understood in one or two different ways. But the point is clear and comes through. And so, in order, the fact that God gives time for humanity to repent does mean that in some cases there will be persecution and even martyrdom, and the martyrdom extends Christ's victory to the nations. It's, again, let me emphasize, there's nothing redemptive about what we do, but it is the witness of Christ that is extended. So Genesis describes the Genesis, the beginning of evil in humanity, in the human condition, this overwhelming power of sin that envelops us. Revelation describes the exodus of evil from this earth. And then finally it ends with those most glorious chapters at the end, those two chapters describing heaven, describing the presence of the Lamb, and how we will be with Christ forever in the heavenly city, the New Jerusalem, and the healing that comes, and the rest and the sense of peace, which, after all the turbulence of the chapters and the spiritual battle and all that has happened, there is this most beautiful description of the future and of us being with Christ. And of course he's using earthly imagery to describe what is beyond. We don't know what's beyond, but it's described in this earthly and very, very beautiful terms. So I hope you enjoy the pods and look forward to discussing this with you in due course. God bless.